Stephen A. Smith and Anton Daniels both have it wrong about Trump and wrong about Democrat policies. In this video, I'll share the top 3 things Stephen A. Smith and Anton Daniels have wrong in their criticisms of policies that impact Black families. A policy can sound compassionate on TV and still drain $200 a month from a working family's budget. That is the part people do not like to talk about, because slogans are free, press conferences are free, campaign speeches are free, but rent, that is not free. Utilities are not free. Social safety nets are not free. Insurance and public services are not free. And when government policies make the basic cost of living more expensive, working families pay the bill. This is equal heat. One standard, no free passes. Recently, a fight began in American politics over gerrymandering and redistricting. One side claims they want things to be fair for all, while the other side is screaming they are protecting the Black vote. In this series, we are asking a simple question. When politicians say they are protecting Black voters, are they also protecting Black families, Black workers, Black men, Black students, Black homeowners, Black business owners, and Black communities? And let me be very clear. Even though this series focuses heavily on Black American families and Black American men, policies that hurt these groups do not stop there. Bad policy eventually hits all legal working citizens. It hits young Americans trying to get their first job. It hits people trying to move up in blue-collar and service industries. It hits lower-income families. It hits middle-income families. It hits renters. It hits anyone trying to work, save, build, and get ahead honestly. So this is not just a Black issue. It is a working family issue. It is a legal citizen issue. It is an American cost of living issue. And that brings us to the hidden tax. The hidden tax is what happens when policies raise the cost of energy, fuel, transportation, rent, utilities, insurance, schools, healthcare, and basic public services. Then politicians act like the pain of increased costs is progress. They may call it compassion. They may call it equity. They may call it sanctuary policy. They may call it reform. But the family at the kitchen table does not care what slogan was used. They care that the bill went up. And here is why this matters so much. Recurring costs destroy opportunity quietly. A one-time expense hurts, but a recurring expense follows you every single month. If gas costs more every week, that is less money left over. If electricity costs more every month, that is less money left over. If rent, water, trash, insurance, groceries, transportation, and utilities all move up at the same time, the family does not just feel pressure, they lose options. And options are what build the future. Every extra dollar going into the gas tank is a dollar not going into savings. Every extra dollar going to rent is a dollar not going toward a down payment. Every extra dollar going to utilities is a dollar not going toward debt payoff, school, trade, training, business, startup money, emergency savings, or a better car. That is the real cost. Not just the bill, the opportunity lost behind the bill. Now, let's make this concrete, because this is not just theory. When more people need housing, schools, healthcare, roads, utilities, translation services, emergency services, and public support, demand goes up. If supply does not grow just as fast, prices rise, services get crowded, or taxpayers cover the gap. That is not politics. That is basic supply and demand. The Congressional Budget Office said the recent immigration surge increased demand for housing, which increased rental costs, property values, and assessed values. So when a city already has a housing shortage, and then more people need a place to live, rent pricing pressure goes up. Renters feel that first. Working families feel that first. Young adults trying to move out feel that first. Parents trying to save for a down payment feel that first. And again, this hits Black American families, but it does not stop with us. Nope. It hits every legal working citizen trying to rent, save, own, and move up in life. New York City gives another example. When the city had to shelter large numbers of asylum seekers, the cost ran into billions of dollars, and some hotels became part of the emergency shelter system. That means rooms that would have been available for normal hotel use were removed from the market. Fewer available rooms plus strong demand means higher prices. Again, that is supply and demand. At the same time, taxpayers were covering the cost of shelter, food, services, administration, security, transportation, and support. So the legal citizen that is paying their fair share of taxes and not relying on the government for any public assistance will pay twice, once through higher market prices and then again through public budgets. California gives another example through healthcare. California expanded Medi-Cal coverage to low-income undocumented immigrants, and the cost became a major state budget issue. Whether someone supports that policy or opposes it, the money still has to come from somewhere. And that somewhere is taxpayers, borrowing, cuts somewhere else, fees, or budget pressure that eventually gets passed along. Now add schools. If a public school district receives large numbers of students who do not speak English natively, that does not make those children bad people, but it does increase the cost of serving them. The system may need bilingual teachers, English language learning support, translators, translated applications, translated parent notices, translated legal documents, extra staff, extra testing, extra training, extra time, extra classroom resources. And every one of those things costs money. The same is true in healthcare. Hospitals, clinics, public health departments, courts, social service agencies, emergency response systems, and city offices may need bilingual staff, interpreters, translated forms, translated websites, multilingual phone lines, and additional outreach. Again, that does not mean people who speak another language are bad. It means language access has a cost. And in the real world, costs do not disappear. They get passed to taxpayers, they get passed to consumers, they get passed to employers, they get passed to families. They get buried inside rent, taxes, fees, insurance, hospital costs, school budgets, city budgets, and public service delays. That is the hidden tax. Canada shows the same pressure at a national level. Canada experienced extremely fast population growth, driven overwhelmingly by international legal migration, and one of the major concerns became housing affordability. That is the warning sign. If population growth moves faster than housing, roads, schools, healthcare, utilities, and public services can handle, the result is pressure. Prices rise, services stretch, budgets swell, quality drops, and working families get squeezed. Now think about what this does over 30 years. Higher monthly costs mean less savings. Less savings means delayed homeownership. Delayed homeownership means less equity. Less equity means less family wealth. Less family wealth means fewer children getting help with college, trade school, a first car, a first apartment, or a first business. And that means the next generation starts behind too. That is how a $200 monthly increase becomes a generational issue. At $200 a month, that is $2,400 a year. Over 10 years, that is $24,000 before you even talk about investing, interest, or opportunity costs. That could have been a used car. That could have been credit card debt paid off. That could have been emergency savings. That could have been trade school. That could have been business equipment. That could have been a down payment fund. That could have been stability. Instead, it disappears into higher bills. Now imagine the same thing happening to a small business. A landscaper pays more for fuel. A contractor pays more for materials and truck costs. A restaurant pays more for utilities, rent, insurance, and delivery. A janitorial company pays more for supplies and transportation. A small operator cannot absorb that forever. So what happens? Prices go up, hiring slows down, hours get cut, expansion stops. The owner delays buying equipment. The business never adds that next employee. And again, the people most affected are often the people trying to get started in life and those in average jobs. Young workers, blue-collar workers, service workers, lower-income workers, middle-income families, Black workers, Black men trying to become stable providers, Black families trying to build savings, and every other legal citizen trying to compete honestly in the same economy. The same family can lose twice, first through weaker wages, then again through higher bills. That is the squeeze. So, when politicians talk about protecting representation, here is the question. Are they protecting the family budget for legal citizens? Are they protecting the job opportunities for legal workers? Are they protecting the renter trying to save? Are they protecting the young sons and daughters of legal citizens that are trying to build a future? Because a district map don't pay the electric bill. A campaign slogan does not lower rent. A press conference does not fill the gas tank. And a speech about compassion does not replace the money taken from a working family every month. So here is the challenge. If your policy raises the cost of living, what is your real plan for the Black American families that are already living paycheck to paycheck? What is your plan to ensure Black American men have an equal opportunity to gain entry and thrive in blue-collar and service industry jobs en masse? Not your slogan, not your theory, not your press release, your real plan. Because the bills and rent do not care about your slogans. And if a policy makes it harder for Black Americans to save, own, invest, move up, start businesses, and pass something on to their children, then that policy deserves equal heat. In the next video, we talk about public safety, because safety is not a luxury issue. It is a civil rights issue. Like, subscribe, and share this video if you believe policies should be judged by what they do to real families, not what they sound like on TV. My goal is simple. Get people thinking, not just voting.